Dr. Manning has a powerful word in his mouth for all people. Tell your family and friends to listen to the Manning Report daily.
About a month or so ago, Judge Napolitano of Fox News made a declarative statement out in front of the Fox News building on 6th Avenue that there was truly obstruction of justice in the Mueller Report, and that Trump did obstruct justice, no doubt about it. And he is a judge, Napolitano, he's a judge. So he read the report, and that was his assessment. Now, he works for Fox News, which is really Trump TV. But he's broken away from the pack of Laura Ingraham and Jeanine Pirro and Tucker Carlson and Sean Hannity. And he speaks forcefully against Trump. Now, they haven't fired him because it would demonstrate a crack in the hypocrisy of Trump TV at Fox. And so he's still there. And he rebuked Trump the other day when Trump called Justin Amash stupid and dumb. And I'm going to ask the engineer to please roll that clip and let us listen to it. And leave my mic open, Mr. Engineer, as we watch Judge Napolitano and Justin Amash in this discussion.
Of course, the calls for impeachment have drawn the ire of the president himself. On the 4th of July, President Trump even tweeted, quote, "Great news for the Republican Party as one of the dumbest," I'm quoting the president, "and most disloyal men in Congress is quitting the party. No collusion, no obstruction. Knew he couldn't get the nomination to run again in the great state of Michigan. Already being challenged for his seat. A total loser." Mr. President, Congressman Amash is not a loser. He is not dumb. He is not disloyal. So why did he call for impeachment and quit the GOP? Joining me tonight in an exclusive Fox interview, Michigan Congressman Justin Amash. Congressman Amash, good evening and welcome.
Mr. Engineer, and I wanted you to hear Judge Napolitano rebuke Trump and looked him right in the eye and told him, you know. But the other thing is that Trump says in that tweet, no collusion, no conspiracy, no obstruction. And he keeps saying that. Now, he knows there's obstruction and he knows there's collusion, but he just keeps saying it. I mean, the man is a con man from way back when. Go ahead, Mr. Engineer.
Already being challenged for his seat, a total loser. Mr. President, Congressman Amash is not a loser. He is not dumb. He is not disloyal. So why did he call for impeachment and quit the GOP? Joining me tonight in an exclusive Fox interview, Michigan Congressman Justin Amash. Congressman Amash, good evening and welcome here.
Hi, Judge. Thanks for having me on.
So why did you call for the impeachment of the President of the United States?
Well, I read the Mueller Report and spent time with it for about a month and then came to the conclusion that the President had engaged in impeachable conduct, and there were several counts that Mueller had laid out, and while he didn't present it as a conclusion himself, he laid out the evidence and said it's up to Congress to move forward.
I think you're probably speaking about Volume 2 of the Mueller Report, which articulates the evidence that Mueller found that supports the claim of obstruction of justice, because we know from history the Clinton impeachment and the near-Nixon impeachment, the House of Representatives declared that obstruction of justice is an impeachable offense. But when you did this, how were you treated by your fellow Republicans publicly, and how were you treated by them privately?
Well, it was very different depending on whether I was speaking to them in person or whether I was watching them on TV. So many of them would come up to me on the House floor or text message me or send me an email saying, hey, thanks for what you're doing. And even though some of them hadn't come to the same conclusion, they'd said, well, we're still reading the Mueller report and still analyzing it. Then they'd go on TV and fully defend the president as though there was nothing wrong. So this is a very common thing in Congress. It's something I've seen for years. And really, this Congress has taken it to a new level. So it's not something that is...
Just pause for just a moment. You know, I listened to this clip before I obviously broadcast it. And what Amash is saying, notwithstanding who Tribulation Trump is, but what he is saying is that these congresspersons know that Trump is a degenerate, but they realize that if they do what he has done, they're going to be ostracized, they're going to be attacked like Trump has attacked him, and they're probably going to lose their seat, and et cetera. And I thought for a second, that what does it profit a man to gain the whole world and lose his own soul? When you lose your autonomy, is it when I look at people like Michael Jackson, for instance, right? Very talented young man, very wealthy, but could not rest at night, could not sleep. And I think this is par for the course for a lot of people that they gain the world, but they lose something far more important. They lose their soul. They lose their integrity. They lose greatly. They can't speak. They are told what to think. They're told what to say. And so I'm glad I am who I am, that my soul is not for sale. But that's what Trump has done, and emasculated, what's the best word for that? Castrated all these people in Congress. Go ahead, Mr. Engineer, continue. But Judge Napolitano, he sucks it to Trump. Go ahead.
Brand new. It's just that we've reached a new level of partisan hypocrisy.
When the House of Representatives, which is now run by the Democrats, has to make a decision, let me restate that. When the Republicans in the House of Representatives have to make a decision, do they debate and articulate and interact with each other, or do they just do what leadership wants, whether leadership is a Republican speaker or, as is the case now, a Republican minority leader?
There's almost no debate here in Congress. It's almost all directed by leadership. So you'd imagine at home that the House and the Senate would be deliberative bodies where you come and you express your ideas, you have debates, and you think through the issues and you come to the right conclusion based on that debate. But instead what happens here is leadership tells you exactly what to think. In fact, every day when we vote on the House floor, leaders send out messages to their respective parties telling them how to vote on various amendments and various bills. And most of the members of Congress don't read any of it. They just come to the floor and leadership said do this, and they vote for it. And sometimes they'll have parochial concerns that are raised by their staff.
Right.
But it's very rarely based on the merits of the legislation.
Where do you think impeachment is going to go? I mean, you're the only Republican that's called for it. The Democrats are hopelessly divided. Where does this go in the next step? We're less than 2 years from a presidential run. The president is probably going to run for re-election. He says he's going to run. He doesn't have a serious challenge in his own party. Do you think impeachment will take place in the next 16 months?
It doesn't seem like it right now. It's up to Nancy Pelosi. She's the Speaker of the House. As I said, the thing is controlled completely by people at the top. So the Speaker of the House controls whether we move forward. I think she's making a serious mistake. If she came out and said, hey, we have evidence that is impeachable and we want to move forward, so many people would fall in line behind her within her own caucus. And a lot of Americans then would also say, it seems like there's something serious here. Remember, most Americans are not reading it. They expect us to read the Mueller Report, and they're looking to us to help give them the idea of whether there's impeachable conduct. If the Speaker of the House says, hey, I don't think we're ready to move forward, what kind of message is she sending the American people? She's sending the message that there's nothing there, and there is something there.
All right, so next Wednesday, the 17th of July, and I'm dating this clip, Robert Mueller will testify on camera before the House of Representatives. And that ought to be a very explosive day. Everybody's waiting on that event to take place. And to hear Robert Mueller lay out the track of obstruction of justice that Trump has done, I think it's going to be a game changer and possibly will push a lot of people over the edge who want to get off the Trump train anyway, who knows that Trump has obstructed justice, but they have seen it sort of as Hillary has done worse, or Bill or Obama. But I think they're going to be so disgusted with the actions of Trump when Mueller does testify that probably impeachment hearings will get underway after next Wednesday. And we're not sure how long that testimony will go, whether it'll go 1 day or 2 days with Robert Mueller, but I'm sure it's going to be a very fascinating time. The world has certainly changed quite a bit with Tribulation Trump. Let me end by saying that if Hillary Clinton had become president, which she should have in 2008, we wouldn't have Trump now. We would not. and we very potentially would not have the circumstances that we have going on globally and certainly nationally and racially that was happening in our nation at present had Hillary Clinton become president, which she should have, which God says she should have. And when God said that she should have, pardon me, that does not mean that God endorsed her. He's just saying legally. Obama came to the power illegally. Obama came to the presidency illegally. Trump came to the presidency illegally.